everyone, and welcome to the Levantex podcast. We have some interesting news to tell you. We are working with a wonderful organization. We are currently in the talks, and we have a guest with us today called Vittoria, who represents Hague times Beirut. Now, that is the Hague Peace Projects. She's going to tell us more about that and all the different things that she's got coming up. So, Vittoria, please, and thank you for joining us today.
Hi, Sophie. Thank you so much for having me on this show. And yeah, the Hague Times Beirut is an art fundraiser done in collaboration with 20 Lebanese artists, and it aims to support the basic needs of three selected human rights defenders based in Beirut.
Why did you choose to do this? What sparked this whole collaboration and support of the activists in Beirut? And how far back does this go?
This goes very far back. It's been a long journey. I myself am not Lebanese. I studied the Middle East, and I traveled to Lebanon and to the rest of the Middle East. I got interested in the Lebanese scene, and I started following it. I have a background in communication, and I've always gave a big importance to activism and as well as to art. So during the past year, I was following up with what was happening throughout 2019 and then 2020, and it was very rough for me to see um, such a different reality, such important happenings, and not being able to support people that were fighting for the same values that I stand for. No, so this is what some of the things that helped me develop my personal relationship with Lebanon. And then the Hague Times Beirut itself was born in September 2020, after the explosion. I was following up with what was happening, and I was following up with many activists and people that were on the streets, and I was seeing, the lives of the protests. And in that moment, during those weeks, I was in contact with the Hague Peace Projects. I was just going through the onboarding process, and I thought, you know what, this is an opportunity to help out and to actually do something. I happen to have a lot of powerful tools which come with, being in a European NGO, being in The Hague, in the Netherlands.
Can I just
Uh,
interrupt you for a second? I'm curious to know. So you developed this relationship with Lebanon. You traveled the Middle East. You have an affinity with the Arab culture, shall we say, or the Levant culture. I'm not too sure which one you related to the most. And I'm going to probably assume that the reason why Beirut stuck was because it's very close to Europe, but it does have old Arab traditional values and stuff like that. So it's a good halfway place. I mean, I'm half English, half Lebanese, and that's why I choose to reside in Lebanon because I found an affinity with the country. But going back to how it spurred you to want to sort of create this initiative, and you still hadn't been onboarded at the NGO.
yeah.
So how did they take to that? Were they shocked, and how did they react, thinking, is Beirut important enough? I mean, how did that go?
Yeah, that was when I pitched the idea for the first time. I was already, let's say, in a friendly relationship with the team of the Hague Peace Projects. They were already warmed up a little bit about me and my ideas. um, and actually, no, they were not really. outraged or shocked or questioning too much, because they understood that my idea had potential, and their question was not whether is Beirut important enough. It's their first project in Beirut. Like, the whole network of organizations and people that we work with, we built it since September, so they had no fit in there, no interest in there. It's all new. um but the question was, so are human rights being tackled there? Are people working on the front line, and can we do anything to help? The fact that we have to help is not really in question at any point. The Hague Peace Projects is completely based on this idea that there's many tools that, if we put communities together, we can sort of make more effective actions to build peace and human rights. So for them, it was a very nice fire started.
Definitely. I mean, it's so great. I'm so inspired by what you did, and I'm sure this story is going to resonate well with a lot of people, especially the Lebanese living abroad that haven't managed to maybe even try to achieve half of what you've achieved, which is absolutely wonderful. Now, Vittoria, tell us, at what stage are you at now? How much money have you raised for the activists? What's the plan?
Since September, we had to reevaluate things and restructure the project a few times due to, Corona, obviously, like always. But now we're at a very good point where we have a selection of 4 activists that are applying for our basic income program. There's a vote coming up where these activists will be selected, and out of 4, only 3 will be picked. This is not because we like the number 3. It's just that this is a pilot, so we don't want to overshoot too much. We have amazing canvases. The website is built, and people can find the canvases there. They can find the stories of the activists, and all information regarding the team, the project, the organization, and everything. And then we have an ongoing series of events. We have live Instagram interviews with collaborators and activists, as well as a big networking event, which is going to come at the end of April. And this is where we got now in terms of organization. We are starting to work on a photographic book that is going to come up in some months, in about 2 months, and I'm very excited about that. And the thing is, we haven't raised that much yet. So we set all the basics, and you need some bases to start with. You need to make sure that everything is ready, and then you can start presenting it to people. You can start talking about it to people.
Now,
um
just one question: when you're looking at raising this money, is this crowdfunded, or are you looking for bursaries and grants? I mean, how are you going about raising the money?
our main objective is to provide the basic needs of the human rights defenders, which means that if we can get them grants or funds from organizations, as long as these organizations comply with our um, mm, behavior code and code value, that's not a problem at all. We don't mind whether if it's fundraised or if it goes through grants. But when people purchase the canvases, the price of the canvas allows them to not just help the activist, but also support the activists that we collaborate with. Because within the price of the canvas, we structured it so that the payment can be split in two, and that we can support more people through the canvas. So it really depends on what people have most at heart. So if and what they have available. if they're moving, if they want to have a new piece to decorate their house, then the canvas is a very nice solution. Also, if they connect with the art, we have very nice artists. We have Beirut by Dyke, we have graffiti artists such as Fat 2 or Cabrit. We have a lot of nice collaborations, so it really depends. And then with the photo book is gonna be nice. I'm very excited about that. I don't want to spoil too much, but it's going to be a recount of what happened between October 2019 and October 2020. And this is going to be told from the perspective of our activists, collaborators, and artists on the ground. It's going to go through social media material, and it's going to connect it, and it's going to give a nice overview of the main themes and the main happenings of the year. And that photo book, you can purchase it, and then the funds will go also directly to the activists. They will not be split with the artists.
For those that not necessarily or question your method or not too sure how the money is transferred to the activists, I mean, what if the activists are put in jail and you can't access them and they need bail? Are you in contact with lawyers here? How are you actually handling these situations, and how are you actually protecting the rights of these activists in order to make sure that no harm comes to them? Because being based in the Netherlands and in The Hague, you are quite far away. Maybe news travels. You could get news 2 days after the activist is arrested. So, how are you actually managing to do your work efficiently?
Yeah, it's very important to make to care for safety when one goes into activism, no? So we're working with the activists also in this sense, and we have contacts with lawyers. We are in contact with rights lawyers. Obviously, we are a very young initiative. So if anyone wants to reach out and to offer their services, we will be more than open and welcome to, any help really, because the idea is to join forces and really help each other to get this done. And these people really need like all the support that they can get. It's tricky. It's a tricky situation because when you're not in the country, you really have to make sure that you do what is possible to help, and that you make people aware of the dangers that they're running and how to um, to not incur them, or to have some sort of way to act against them, no? This is something that is a very big concern for us, uh, but that in everyday developments is very tricky to achieve.
I think it's just interesting to understand how the bridge is going to finally connect, and you're going to be able to efficiently make the change or support where needed. With no one on the ground, you're directly in contact with the activists. So the money that is raised and that is funded, or the grants that are given, are going directly into their bank accounts, or are you money transferring it because of all the capital control that's going on in the country? How is that working out?
Yeah, so because of uh, the capital control of the banks in Lebanon, we're transferring money through Western Union so far. This is how we've also paid the artists so far. So this is how we've sent payments, and these activists, they're not just people that we know. Obviously, they're people that have been referred to us. We've talked about them with others. We asked around. we managed to develop many nice collaborations with people that have been very active on the ground. So in that sense, we have a network of trusted people that we can count on, and that, you know, believe in what we're trying to do, and are helping us to get there with their inputs, with their volunteering, you know, with their time.
This could get worse for you in the end. So, I mean, as the worst, as not for you per se, but for the people in Lebanon. I mean, the situation is just getting worse and worse and worse. So,
Yeah.
I guess on your on your side, you're going to have to just find a lot of creative solutions and loopholes to be able to consistently be able to have this relationship with those on the ground. So, very, very, very impressed with what you're doing. Super inspired by the passion and the love that you have for the country and what you're trying to do, all the way from the Netherlands. And as we say in French, you know, chapeau bas, like my hat's off to you. So, Vittoria, is there anything that's coming up recently that you would like to shed light on?
Yeah, so if you want to get to know the activists, and if you want to keep an eye on what they're doing, and you know, keep an eye on the latest developments on Lebanon too, we are putting out each week these live interviews with them, where we ask a little bit about what they do, and, you know, the themes that they have the most at heart. So, for example, last week we talked with Hanadi Jawari. She's a humanitarian activist, and she's the peace ambassador to the Universal Peace Council. And she has talked to us about her work at the Red Cross, and the need for more food, for example, because of the price issue that and the liquidity issue that are going on at the moment. We talked with Khador. Khador Aido is one of the other four activists, and he's been working a lot on corruption. So, for example, he uh, talked to us about the latest developments of these weeks in regards to the arrest of the activists that were protesting in Tripoli. So I'm sure most of listeners are also aware of what happened, and he was updating us on how many of these people were released, why, what happened. The thing is that they're his friends, you know, they're people that he worked next to for a long time. So he's been putting a lot of effort into this, and he's been, you know, coordinating with the lawyers and updating everyone. So this, I think, is very interesting material for people to check out, and it's a series. So now we're gonna talk with Mustafa Daibi, who is focusing a lot on um, recording the protests that are happening in the blockages of the streets of these past weeks. And we're gonna talk with Carlos. Carlos Ayvazian is a 19 years old activist that just doesn't have any other option than being an activist. No, the idea for him is to get him enough funds to get him in university, um, because yeah, he wants to make Lebanon a better place so that other people don't have to go through the traumas that he had to go through. And, you know, like, just the events that are coming up. Check if you like what we're doing, if you want to help, if you can help. You know, I think there are always ways to make everything, you know, to make collaboration more effective, and to enlarge it as well.
Vittoria, thank you so much for being with us today. I mean, it's been such a great conversation. I've learned a lot. And for those who do want to get in touch, I have been in contact with them via Instagram. They're extremely responsive. So just get in touch and see how you can help or donate. And if you're on the ground and want to secure communication with the artists and the activists, I'm sure Vittoria will appreciate all of the help. And while I have your attention, we too are a crowdfunded organization. So, as Vittoria just mentioned, every little does help. You can head to levantex.com to place a one time payment or set up a monthly fee. Now, Vittoria, thank you once again for being with us today.